Danny McGrain is 75 years old, and many believe his story is one of tragic downfall. They point to that terrifying moment in March 2002 when police officers found him unconscious in his car in Glasgow, his body having shut down from a hypoglycemic episode that could have killed him. The brain had been drained of sugar, causing his entire system to begin shutting down. Had those officers arrived just minutes later, the outcome could have been devastating. But this isn't a story of downfall at all. This is the remarkable tale of a man who faced 3 career-ending challenges and turned each one into triumph through sheer determination and quiet courage. Born Daniel Fergus McGrain on May 1st, 1950 in Glasgow, Danny became synonymous with Celtic Football Club and the Scotland national team. His career statistics tell an incredible story that spans nearly 2 decades at the highest level. 681 competitive appearances for Celtic, 62 caps for his country, 7 Scottish League Championships, 5 Scottish Cups and 2 Scottish League Cups. He was inducted as an inaugural member of the Scottish Football Hall of Fame in 2004, cementing his place among Scotland's greatest footballers. Yet these impressive numbers barely scratch the surface of his true legacy, which goes far deeper than any trophy cabinet could ever show. McGrain's journey began in Glasgow's Drumchapel area, where scouts spotted him playing for Queen's Park Strollers. He joined Celtic in May 1967 at just 17 years old, after assistant manager Sean Fallon secured his signature. There's an interesting twist to this story. A Rangers scout had actually passed on him, allegedly because they wrongly assumed McGrain was Catholic based on his name, Daniel Fergus McGrain. While McGrain himself has questioned whether this story is entirely true, it provides a glimpse into the sectarian backdrop that dominated Glasgow football at the time. He progressed through the ranks as one of the celebrated Quality Street Kids, a talented group of young players that included the equally legendary Kenny Dalglish. McGrain made his first team debut for Celtic in 1970, and his reputation grew rapidly throughout the Scottish football scene. His playing style as an attacking fullback was distinctive and widely admired by fans and opponents alike. He possessed a burst of speed that left wingers trailing in his wake, exceptional skill and ball control that would make midfielders envious, sharp vision and anticipation that seemed almost supernatural, and, when needed, a strong but fair sliding tackle that became his trademark. He was a dynamic player who contributed significantly to both attacking and defensive duties, with his trademark overlapping runs becoming a hallmark of Celtic's play and a constant threat to opposing teams. Then came the first great test of his career, arriving without warning like so many life-changing moments do. On March 25, 1972, at just 21 years old, McGrain suffered a fractured skull during a match against Falkirk, after a clash of heads with opponent Doug Somner. The incident starkly reminds us of the primitive medical practices in football during that era, when player safety wasn't the priority it is today. After the clash, the injured McGrain received nothing more than a simple swish of the magic sponge, and a reluctant substitute was brought on. Incredibly, he actually played on before eventually coming round, showing the kind of toughness that would define his entire career. The injury was severe and threatened to end his playing days before they had truly begun. However, he made a full recovery, and by the following season had secured his place as Celtic's first-choice right-back, making 30 league appearances and proving his doubters wrong. If you're enjoying learning about Danny McGrain's incredible story of resilience, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more inspiring football stories that go beyond the headlines. Just as McGrain seemed to be hitting his stride, the summer of 1974 brought a challenge that would define the rest of his life. Scotland competed in the World Cup in West Germany, and throughout the tournament, McGrain was plagued by symptoms that baffled everyone. He experienced excessive thirst and lost an incredible 2 stone, which is about 12 kilograms, in weight. During a half-time team talk in the opening game against Zaire, teammates found him lying under a tap used for washing boots, desperately trying to get enough fluid into his system. Upon returning to to Glasgow, doctors identified the cause of his symptoms: type 1 diabetes. This diagnosis was both a massive shock and a potential career ender. Doctors told him he would need daily insulin injections for the rest of his life. While this professional diagnosis was undoubtedly frightening, it proved to be a fortunate outcome. Scotland's early exit from the tournament, despite being undefeated, actually saved McGrain's life because it led to timely diagnosis and treatment. Had there been any further delay in identifying his condition, the consequences could have been fatal. McGrain's successful continuation of his career for another 13 years became a testament to his immense self-discipline and pioneering spirit. He was forced to become his own medical expert at a time when athlete-specific medical support for chronic conditions was virtually non-existent. In the 1970s, diabetes management was rudimentary and rigid. Insulin was often sourced from animals and less pure than today's versions. Blood glucose monitoring was still primitive, relying on crude methods like testing urine with tablets or tapes that changed colour. The first home blood glucose meter had only been introduced in 1970, and portable insulin pumps wouldn't become available until 1978. Unlike today's athletes who use continuous glucose monitoring systems and have dedicated medical staff making real-time adjustments, McGrain's success relied entirely on disciplined lifestyle choices and personal vigilance. This reality makes his sustained elite performance all the more remarkable. He became a pioneer not by choice but by necessity, demonstrating that a professional athletic career was possible with a condition once considered a definite career ender. Just as McGrain reached what was arguably his professional peak, he faced yet another career-threatening challenge. At the start of the 1977-78 season, he was at the height of his powers, having been voted Player of the Year by the Scottish Football Writers Association. He had also been newly appointed as Celtic captain following Kenny Dalglish's departure. However, he soon sustained what sources describe as a troublesome foot injury that medical staff struggled to properly diagnose or treat. This mystery ankle injury cost him 18 months of his career when he was at his absolute peak. The injury forced him to miss most of the 1977-78 season and, most frustratingly, the 1978 World Cup campaign in Argentina. His absence was deeply felt at Celtic, who finished the season without trophies and failed to qualify for European competition for the first time in nearly 2 decades. The unknowable nature of the injury presented a unique psychological burden, adding uncertainty and frustration beyond the physical pain. Without a clear diagnosis, there was no defined path to recovery, creating a different kind of mental test compared to the sudden trauma of his fractured skull or the chronic but manageable nature of diabetes. McGrain's return to the team in 1979 under manager Billy McNeill marked a clear evolution in his playing style. The injury had caused a noticeable reduction in his explosive pace, one of his defining early attributes. However, rather than ending his career, this physical limitation became a catalyst for transformation. He compensated for the loss of speed by relying more heavily on his tactical intelligence, anticipation of play, and ball distribution skills. He developed a greater presence on the field, becoming a more cerebral player who could control the game from his right-back position. This adaptation solidified his legacy as a truly complete footballer, demonstrating that greatness isn't just defined by physical capabilities, but by the ability to evolve and adapt. McGrain continued playing at the highest level until his retirement in 1988, having served Celtic for 17 remarkable years. Following his playing retirement, McGrain's influence continued. He had a brief coaching spell at Clydebank and was appointed manager of Arbroath in 1992, where he became known as the leader of Danny McGrain's bearded army. He later took on long-term coaching and mentoring roles back at Celtic. In recognition of his service to Scottish football, he was appointed a member of the Order of the British Empire in 1983. But McGrain's story of resilience didn't end with retirement. That incident in March 2002, where we began this tale, serves as a powerful reminder of his lifelong battle. He was found unconscious in his car after entering a hypoglycemic state, where the brain becomes drained of sugar and the body begins to shut down. Fortunately, police officers discovered him in time and revived him with a sugary sweet, and he made a full recovery. This incident could have been fatal and demonstrates that his heroism extended far beyond the football pitch into a constant, decades-long exercise in self-management. McGrain's career represents a masterclass in courage, humility, and quiet leadership. He faced 3 profound challenges that would have ended the careers of lesser individuals: the sudden, severe trauma of a fractured skull, the chronic, pioneering battle with type 1 diabetes, and the frustrating, transformative period of a mystery injury. His ability to overcome these setbacks, each demanding a different kind of mental and physical fortitude, cemented his status as a footballing icon. His true legacy isn't found in a single moment of glory, but in the enduring spirit that allowed him to overcome what should have stopped him. McGrain became a beacon of hope and a pioneer not by choice but by necessity, defining a new kind of athletic heroism for generations to come. His story proves that greatness isn't just about talent or achievements, but about the unwavering human spirit to persevere against impossible odds. So the next time someone suggests Danny McGrain's story is one of downfall, remind them of the truth. This is a story of triumph, resilience, and quiet heroism that continues to inspire. What other football legends would you like us to explore? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more incredible stories from the beautiful game.